When Melbourne-based Second Hour Watches decided that they were going to produce their very first field watch, they didn't want to draw upon the same old vintage inspirations that most others are using these days. They wanted to bring something new to the table while also maintaining the very distinct Second Hour design language. Did they succeed? Let's find out. This is the Sattelberg. Sattelberg is a bit of a strange name for a field watch. You might think it's named after a Texan suburb or maybe a giant Australian crab bug monster thing, but it's not. And I will tell you later in this episode where they got the name. For now, let's dive into the dimensions and the specifications. The Sattelberg has a 40mm diameter with a 47mm lug to lug. It has 20mm lug widths and is 10mm thick with a 6mm crown. The case is 316L stainless steel, but it has a trick up its sleeve with a 1200 Vickers surface hardening treatment. And I have to tell you, I'm really impressed by this treatment. The crystal is sapphire with a beveled edge and 6 layers of anti-reflective coating. It has Swiss Superluminova BGW9 and the hands are custom diamond cut. It has a screw-down case back and a screw-down crown, and the water resistance as a result is 100 meters, which is fantastic for a field watch. Under the hood is the typical Miyota 9015 automatic for this price range, but not typical is the 2-year warranty, with many companies offering only 1 year these days. Now the MSRP at full price is 675 Australian dollars. That's 455 USD. Now, if you want the full loom version, you're looking at 698 Australian or 475 USD. Either way, both versions are well under $500. Featuring 4 dial colors: Service Blues, Officer, Gunsmoke, and The Beacon, their very first full loom dial, there's a Sattelberg for almost any taste. Second Hour was kind enough to send over the Beacon and the Gunsmoke for review, and honestly, I'm not sure which one I like more. Although I will say that full loom dial is a lot of fun. There's a printed outer chapter ring with minute markers of various shapes, sizes, and colors. There are applied numbers at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, and multifaceted triangle markers at the remaining hours. And of course, it has printed 24-hour markers, as is befitting the expected requirements for a proper field watch. The date at 6 is always my preferred location if a watch must have a date, and I am always a sucker for a crosshair dial. The diamond cut hands are exceptionally well done in either black or polished, depending upon the colorway, but all have a red tip seconds hand that really stands out. And at first glance, you might mistake it for a GMT. For a field watch, the loom is really good on both of these, especially the full loomed version, appropriately named The Beacon. Let's put it this way, it left my khaki cowering in the corner. The case is, as we say in Canada, a real beaut, eh? It has refined sweeping lugs with a chamfered polished edge and brushing that I'd put up against any other watch in this price range. It is thin at 10mm and it just hugs the wrist the way a field watch should. The crown, though smaller, is easy to grip, and the Miyota movement is a higher beat movement than many other entry-level movements. I've also found them to be very reliable and accurate. Flipping the watch over is where things start to get interesting and we start to gain a clue as to the reasoning behind the name of the Sattelberg. Instead of the usual specifications, you find a date and a place along with some coordinates. Second Hour explains, not much more than a large hill at 896 meters, Sattelberg in the Huon Peninsula, New Guinea, was a pivotal campaign in which Australian troops played a critical role, helping to turn the tide in the Pacific Theater. A nod to this rugged, treacherous location can be seen in the longitude and the latitude coordinates for Sattelberg etched into the screw-down caseback. Second Hour wants to be clear that they are not glorifying war, but to them, Sattelberg represents the courage and determination of the Australian people when facing great adversity. The Sattelberg ships in a fantastic dual watch pouch. It's just so thoughtful, you guys. Like really thoughtful. But the generosity doesn't end there. Peter and the team at Second Hour have included 2 straps. That's right, 2 straps. The first, and presumably the main strap, is a really nice leather-backed canvas strap with contrasting stitching. The other is an elastic strap, also known as the most comfortable strap in the world. Both straps come with a really nice hardware that is brushed and signed, and they both have quick release so that you can do this. For the picks, let's start off with the case. I appreciate the design of this case so much. It reminds me a bit of a Christopher Ward, and that's a good thing in both terms of design and fit and finish. Number 2, multifaceted everything. Second Hour wasn't content to just print everything on this dial. The markers are not only applied, but they're multifaceted with different angles to catch the light. Even the black indices somehow manage to catch the light. And that includes the hands, which are also very dynamic. You have to love that red seconds hand. I mean, who doesn't love a red tip seconds hand? And this is a really good one. The 316L stainless steel with 1200 Vickers surface hardening treatment is also a huge plus for me. I don't know about you, but I'd love to keep my watches looking great, and these are going to look great for a very long time. And then there's that full lume dial. I mean, who doesn't love a full lumed dial? And I have to tell you, this thing really glows. For nitpicks, I wish that this came with longer straps, because if it did, I would probably buy a bunch of them. The legibility on the gray version is not the best. The hands are a high polish, and as a result, they sort of blend into that gray dial, and honestly, that happens with most gray dials. Well, that's about it. I'm sorry. I know you like it when we trash a watch, but this is a really good one. It wears well, has great proportions, hardness treatment, a solid movement, and specs for the price. Plus it comes with 2 straps and a great travel case. And honestly, knowing the crew at Second Hour, I really didn't expect anything less. So if you want to buy your own Sattelberg, head on over to your favorite web browser and order yours now, as these were just released today. Assuming you're watching this February 17th, 2023, and not tomorrow, or the next day, or some other day altogether.